Today we'll be counting down my top 10 Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh investments since I joined the hobby back in early 2020. Starting off at number 10, we got an assortment of Yu-Gi-Oh special editions from that classic to GX era. From that Dark Legends, Force of the Breaker, Gladiator's Assault, GX special edition, even Tactical Evo, all in early 2020, sitting around that $15 to about $50 range depending on which special edition. Now currently with the cheapest special edition being that Force of the Breaker at 80 USD, and even some getting up to that 150 mark like that Tactical Evo or GX Special Edition, having each rose to that 200 to 300% mark in that last year. And I thought to myself, especially when I heard the news when joining the hobby, that special editions were going out of print, as well as this was one of the only ways to get them old booster packs besides opening up booster boxes, blisters and so on, and definitely is still collecting them up to today, guys. But at number 9 we have the Millennium pack booster box, which actually we grabbed from our locals here in Thailand, and back in about April of 2020 or so, these things were sitting about $80 USD a box, with the most recent sales hitting that 250 to 300 USD range. And this is a weird box being revolved around that Winged Dragon of Ra and other things such, but I thought to myself, having Yu-Gi-Oh on the front, that Winged Dragon of Ra as well, come on, this has to be a hit or something, surely. And as we can see, they've risen by 250% or so. At number 8 we have Pokemon Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes and their reprint that came out last year, late October, November. Now if you were lucky enough to grab any of these up, especially at that cheap price of $35, $50 a box, even some hitting around that $100 or $80 mark, with now boxes currently sitting at $160 or so minimum, guys, on most websites, seeing a rough 2 to 300% increase depending on where you bought those boxes at, and hopefully like us, especially if you grabbed up a fair few of them at that cheap price, guys. And this was a no-brainer, guys, being one of the best set that's come out in years, guys, possibly since that XY era, having them shiny cards, that Charizard on top of that, and with boxes previously before this reprint sitting at that $3 to $350 mark per box. It was an easy one in my mind, just let's pick up a few of these. Following into number 7, we have Retro Pack 2, specifically talking about them blister special editions with the green baboon. Late 2020, these things were on the rise, hitting that 250 to 300 mark, guys, and we managed to pick up a few, with now shockingly enough them hitting that $900 to $1,000 range, being another 250 to 300% increase roughly, and being an epic one, being that a European exclusive, guys, and revolving, that Blue Eyes Shining, and being a reprint of some of the most favorite sets out there. We definitely saw, especially looking at the prices of Retro Pack 1, still going on the rise, hitting that $2,000 or so mark for a box, guys. With this Retro Pack 2 having an even better card list, guys, why wouldn't it meet those price marks of that Retro Pack 1, especially after time in the market, guys. Next at number 6 we have our Yu-Gi-Oh Ghost from the Past case, which lucky enough we pre-ordered early before its April release in 2021, and we grabbed for that $560 mark or so for the case, with now case sale prices hitting that $1,100 plus range, guys, being only 100% increase, but an epic one for a just released this year Yu-Gi-Oh product. And obviously a banger set, guys, being the first to introduce those ghost rares back into Yu-Gi-Oh after 5 or so years, and on top of that having them hitters like them Dark Magician, Blue Eyes, Blackluster Soldier. Following into the spicier ones, guys, we got number 5, having those Evolution booster boxes, having bought a couple back in May of 2020, guys, with boxes sitting around that $120 to $150 or so range. Now over a year later, prices have gone insane, hitting that $850 mark plus, guys, being almost 450% increase. And obviously, come on, guys, a reprint of base set evolutions, that Charizard, guys, come on, all them old base set artworks. And a lot of people may have thought, come on, there's way too much supply out here for it to matter. And I mean, sure, we saw boxes rise to that $1,500 mark at one point and even dip back down, but as we can see now, guys, boxes are slowly back on the rise, having hitting that price floor, that $800 or so mark. And diving into number 4, another Pokemon epic one, guys, that newest Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection, specifically a case of them, which this hasn't even released, guys, and it's supposed to be out on October 22nd, which if you were lucky enough to grab from your local distributors, possibly on eBay before prices went insane, even Amazon, you may have been able to grab boxes at the $150 to $180 range, which we lucky enough managed to grab a case for $600. Now with prices gone insane, with ultra premiums at $400 minimum, guys. A case of these looks to be sitting around $1,600 or so USD, having an 150% increase roughly before the actual release. And number 3, we have our Pokemon base set Spanish PSA 10 graded artwork, guys, which last year with all the Pokemon hype and everything, we thought, well, let's grab something base set, guys, with all the nostalgia, everything, guys. Come on, the original set, even though packs were going for insane prices, but we managed to grab up a graded PSA 10 Spanish set for $800 USD, with now prices risen to that $2,000 mark, being 150% or so increase, guys. And definitely, come on, guys, this is one of the cheaper options to get that base set, especially, you know, not in that first edition, or if you're not looking for that English, and in my opinion is the next best option, guys, especially for that collection, having them in them graded slabs 10 out of 10. Moving into number 2, we have our Rise of Destiny Hobby Box First Edition, which surprisingly in early 2020, guys, boxes were sitting around that $200 to $250 range, which we managed to pick up a few of them hobby boxes, with the difference between hobby and retail is hobby being the better version, having all the cover and major hitter cards in ultimate rare compared to the retail having only rares and them other side cards as ultimate rares. But with now boxes sitting in that $800 to $1.5K range, guys, sales a little bit all over the place, but on average, guys, roughly a 400% increase. And now this is an epic one, being, you know, the second ever GX set, I guess we can technically call that, you know, between that Yu-Gi-Oh! Classic and GX era. And this is an epic one, being the second ever set that you can get ultimate rares. But finally, guys, at number 1, and I'm sure some of you have guessed it already, we have that Yu-Gi-Oh! Legend of the Blue Eyes Wavy First Edition Booster Box, which, crazy enough, before this epidemic and all the Pokemon hype and everything, guys, April or so 2020 was sitting at that $8 to $15,000 range mark, with now, crazily enough, box prices exploding to that 50K plus, and depending on which you have, the wavy or the glossy version, with wavy being apparently more rarer and expensive, we have seen boxes around that 70 to 80 grand mark, guys, being a 400 to 500% increase, and a crazy one at that, guys. And of course, this is the first ever set of Yu-Gi-Oh! In English, guys, the pinnacle of the hobby, containing their most favorite cards, guys, the Dark Magician, the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Exodia, and all in their first booster box appearance. But hey, guys, click here to watch this video.